Is
And you're
everybody
live.
else?
Are we live?
Is everybody
Yep,
else
live
as
on
exhausted
Facebook.
as I am? Yay.
Perfect. Okay, so we're live on Facebook. So thank you very much for joining us today, everybody out there in Facebook world. Let me just get back here. We've actually got more people, which is great because we've got some good stuff to talk about. There's new people, so hopefully, I'm sure we're going to end up talking a little bit about some, something to do with COVID and how we can help our clients through it. So we've got new people, so hopefully some new ideas, which is great. So first thing, we'll go around. So for those new people that are joining us live today on Zoom, first thing we do is we go around. If you don't want to talk, we're not going to force you. You don't want to be on camera, we're not going to force you. Don't worry about that. But we just kind of go around and introduce ourselves and just say who we are, what we do. And then we actually have a special guest who has something she would like to announce today too, or I would like to let her announce. How's that? So I'll start first and then we'll just kind of go in order because I usually go into who came here first, but I lost track. There's so many people today. So Tanya Hiltz from Cloud Bookkeeping Services and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp, and also a board member of the Institute of Professional Bookkeepers of Canada. And we have another board member here today too, which is awesome. And we're trying really hard to support our members through everything that is going on right now. So hopefully you guys are catching some of my updates on here. I heard today Kathy and Shelley's not here, but we're saying that they were actually at a meeting in Edmonton and they were waiting. They were like, oh, Trudeau's announcement hadn't come out. We haven't seen an update for Tanya. Oh, here's the update. So that's great. I'm glad I can help because I've got a great team, which gives me the time to be able to research this stuff. So for those of you that can't, that's why the stuff is out there, because I know a lot of you don't have the time to do that if you don't have a team. So that's it. So why don't we go with our special guest first? So Susan, if you would like to introduce yourself.
I have to unmute myself. So my name is Susan Watkin. I have an accounting firm, but primarily an educator. So I teach a lot in Ontario at colleges, and I do a lot of teaching for Intuit. And I'm actually I am their writer for TurboTax and their blog editor. And I get to do lots of interviews and stuff. So with me, it's all about the teaching. So yeah, I don't know do you want me to, I should wait though to go into any.
Yeah, we'll wait until everybody gets a chance to introduce themselves, because otherwise then you might miss everybody with having such a big group today.
Okay, perfect. That's me.
There's a few new people that have come on. So Lori and Cindy, talk if you want to talk. If you want to show yourself, you can. If you just want to stay back and just stay quiet and listen and type in chat, feel free to do so. I know Jennifer did that for the first few times, I think, until we were able to coach her to come on and interact. So just whatever makes you feel comfortable. So Stacy, you're next in my.
Awesome. Hello, my name is Stacy Stanley Young. I am with Stanley Young Business Strategies. We're a small bookkeeping firm in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We specialize in small business bookkeeping as well as personal income tax. And I am absolutely and utterly exhausted at the end of this week is what I really am.
Yes, I think a lot of us can echo that. All right, Kathy.
I'm Kathy Battery with CSB Creative Business Solutions in Edmonton, Alberta. I run a virtual CFO and bookkeeping firm for not-for-profits, as well as sole proprietors and small businesses.
Awesome. Jessica.
Hi, Jessica Fox from Florida Virtual Bookkeeper. So I am in Florida, and I specialize in small service-based businesses using QuickBooks Online.
Beautiful. Thank you. Diane.
Hi, Diane Mueller from Soma Small Business Solutions, a founder of the Institute of Professional Bookkeepers of Canada, and also a partner in the Trifold Bookkeeper Advisors Group.
Awesome. And that ties into a little bit of what Susan has to talk about too. Nice partnership between the three of us we have going on. Anyway, we won't ruin that yet. Tracy, you're next.
Hi, I'm Tracy Schneider of Tracy's Bookkeeping Ltd. in Edmonton, Alberta. I use mostly QuickBooks and HubDoc in order to help my clients. If you hear a bunch of growling behind me, it's because I just gave my dogs a bath and they're not pleased with me. So they're rolling around all over the place.
Awesome. Jennifer.
can you hear me? I'm Jennifer Soland. I run my company called Time Advantage Accounting Solutions out of Red Deer, Alberta. I specialize actually in personal tax and small business, small corporate taxes, but then I do bookkeeping as well for those small corporations.
Perfect. Connie, this is Connie's first time. Oh, it was Tracy's first time too. I should have mentioned that, I think. So Connie, welcome for your first time.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm glad I can be on. It's not very often I get the opportunity during the day to get in on these live sessions. So it's good and it's bad. It's bad because I really don't have a lot of work right now. I do a lot of consulting mostly for QuickBooks, desktop and online, various softwares like that. I am also on the board of directors for the IPBC and the regional network chair for Edmonton. So it's nice to see there's a few of us from Edmonton on here in Alberta as well. So that's pretty cool. This is the newest addition to our family.
I was going to say, I know there's somebody else there you need to introduce.
Yeah, Sparlow. So, yeah.
Oh my God,
he's keeping us busy around here. But yeah, I'm glad I could join.
Awesome. All right, Ruby.
Hi, I'm Ruby Langdon from Langdon & Co. here in Guelph, Ontario, and very much cloud-based and working QuickBooks online only. And I do lots of training in QuickBooks Online, and I don't know, working with small corporations and small business owners, and working a lot in tandem with clients. So they do some and we do some, which we really enjoy.
Awesome. All right, Christine, welcome. I think this is your first time on Beyond the Cloud too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Boucher. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I am a remote bookkeeper here, and I also offer business consulting for small businesses around streamlining and efficiency.
Awesome. Shelley.
Hi guys, Shelley LaRue here, just outside of east of Edmonton, basically. So basically the Edmonton area. And I run Family Roots Bookkeeping and Consulting. And very similar to everybody else, it's, bookkeeping for small, medium-sized businesses and consulting on the side as well.
Awesome. Cindy is just going to listen today. So we'll just watch the chat. So if I happen to miss it, somebody grab it. And Lori, I'm not sure if you're just going to be in quiet listen only mode or if you'd like to pop off and introduce yourself. Okay, that's okay.
Sorry, no, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
It's just Lori. I'm here with Susan, actually, Susan Watkin.
Oh,
okay. So I'm just here to support and see what she has to say.
Awesome. Well,
so I'm just kind of sitting quietly. If I want to punch in, I will.
Sounds good.
Oh, she's hilarious. Funny. Yeah, Lori works with me. So I told her, I said, join. I said, here, come and join some of these great people. Listen what they have to say. So she's so yeah, she'll be there listening silent and maybe commenting in the chats too. So
awesome. So Lori, you're the one, you came down with Susan. You and I met, if I'm remembering correctly, at the QBHQ Roadshow.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, that's a while ago now, eh?
I have a good memory.
Yeah.
But if I were to see her, I'm not good with faces. I'm good with names and situations, but faces, not so good with faces.
I don't know. Being home, the hair is kind of just not good right now.
I know, right? All right. So I don't think I've missed everybody because the faces have moved around on me. But if I've missed anybody, I don't think so. No, okay. So Susan, why don't you tell us? So she's launching something really exciting for bookkeepers. So, anybody out there, tag somebody in this. It's on Facebook Live. It's going on my YouTube channel. So we're going to have, obviously, we'll maybe put your contact information in the comments as well, too. So Susan, tell us all about your new venture and how it benefits bookkeepers.
Yeah, there's a couple of you, and I did post in the Bookkeepers Corner group. Everybody, hopefully you've seen it. So it's many months in the making. So what it is, and it came from a couple different places, but what we're looking for, what it is right now is it's called Find Our Bookkeeper, and it's a program that I developed initially to help the clients. I deal with hundreds of businesses a year. I get to work with a lot of startups through government programs and such, and all sorts of companies with the teaching. And one of the things that invariably all of them ask is, can you refer somebody to me? I need some help. And the unfortunate reality is I can't, because I don't know a lot about all of you amazing people. So I can't actually say to somebody that, yes, this would be the right person for you. And then on the other side, that my experience as an accountant, I have, with my own firm, I've worked with, gone through many, many bookkeepers. I work with a lot of in-house bookkeepers as well with companies. And I know sometimes it's not always the easiest on that side to find the right client. So, and what we often can hear, and I'm sure many of you have heard similar things, is where, especially when you get a new client, often there's a little bit of complaining about the past bookkeeper. Oh, the past bookkeeper did this, or they didn't know how to do this. And I looked at them and said, okay, maybe sometimes it might be true, but isn't it sometimes more likely that it just was the wrong bookkeeper for you? They didn't necessarily do something wrong. They just either, what I've seen in my experiences is a lot of bookkeepers want to grow your businesses and get out there and say yes to everyone, which you should not do. And perhaps that client wasn't the right person and they weren't forthcoming, or they didn't know what to ask you for. So what we've developed here is working with clients to help find them the right bookkeeper. And it means regardless of where you guys are across Canada. So what we're trying to do is right now is create a talent pool of bookkeepers that we can pull from, basically, is to then provide these referrals to these businesses to say, based on everything you've asked for, based on what, as a financial consultant, that I've been able to go in and I could tell you what you really need, these are the bookkeepers that you need to talk to because they've got the skills to match you. So right now, what we need those bookkeepers with and knowing what you guys can do, who you want to work with, what kind of way you want to work, what your skills are, where you need help. It's a huge process right now of, and the best way to say it is filling a talent pool. And so we're in the bookkeeper mode right now. I put some information on the Facebook page, and what we're looking for right now is we're starting conversations, just initial interest conversations. You get on, talk to us. And that's why I told Lori to come on. Lori's the one who does the initial chat, just, hey, how's it going? And then it's a lot of work for you guys. There's no cost for you to come in and join and be considered, which is nice. But there's a lot of work in terms of, your education and all that kind of stuff. Lots of questions, lots of, lots of conversations to make sure we know enough about you. So the program, I originally created it was to solve a problem for businesses, was to make sure that they had the right person, the best person for them. But then it's evolved because I work with so many of you guys in the industry that it's evolved like, well, look, you know what? A lot of these businesses actually don't value you enough, and they should. So I'm trying to change that by, if we can match the right bookkeeper to these businesses, maybe we can change some of this perception of how they value you or not. And that's not to say it's broad, but there's a lot of people that just don't see it. And we all need bookkeeping. Every business needs bookkeeping. So it's all about, let's try to find the right fit. So it's like a relationship thing, let's just say, so that's it. It's called, like I said, it's called Find Our Bookkeeper. And right now we're just I need to find some bookkeepers right now. So I'm putting it out there. We have some links I've put in Tanya's page, and it's basically, that's what we're looking for right now, is we need to know if there's bookkeepers of every single level, whether you own your own firm, whether you are a freelancer, you're a startup, you're retired, it doesn't matter. If you want to have more client base or you want to be considered, then we just want to talk to you and get some information and go from there. So
it's basically like, Match.com for bookkeepers, right?
Yeah. Swipe left, swipe right, little Tinder. Yes, it's not quite the dating service of bookkeeping, but whatever helps you understand it a little bit better. But yeah, it's about relationship building and proper understanding of what the needs are and what we can do. And it's hoping to help as well on the bookkeeper side, is to help you guys understand that you don't have to be everything to everyone, there's good clients for you, for what you know, you know, so because it's never good for any of us when it's a bad fit, right? So
exactly. So as Sandra said, good point, great approach, and great strategy. So
thank you.
And then just to clear, now I already know the answer to this, but I'm just going to make sure that everybody else out there understands. So I'll ask you this. So if I join up and you send somebody over to me, is there any expectation on you that I accept them as a client? What if I don't think they're a right fit?
Sorry, as a client or as
yeah, if you refer the client over to me, let's say you say, okay, you know what, I think you guys are matched together.
Oh.
The client calls me, I don't feel I'm a good fit with the client and I choose not to pursue that relationship. Do you have any expectation that I would have to do that?
No, 100%. Like that's one of our main things, is that our goal is for every client, we at least have 3 to 4 people that we would present to them, and no one is presented to any business until the bookkeepers themselves approve that client. So the client is actually presented to you first to say, this is what they need. This is the expectation of this client. The only thing we hold back is for confidential reasons is the name of the business. And we ask you then, do you want to be considered? Would you like to be referred? And you are only referred if you approve of that client. Like I'm not, because to me, this is important. Like it's not about a placement. It's not about saying, here's a job for you. No, this is, again, you might be a good fit, but maybe you're like, you know what? There's something about this person I don't like. You don't have to do it. It's just it's a referral. That's all it is. I just want to know before I give your information to that person if you want to bother with that person.
So then the next question, because of course we have, you know, even though on this call there's mostly Canadians, I think, you know, Jessica's the only American on the call right now. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that's it. But we do in our, you know, our audience in the Bookkeepers Corner group, it was started as Canadian, but we are more American in the group than Canadian. So is this something that, you know, is either now or in the future could be open and available to our American friends as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Actually, we've had some great interest from American bookkeepers as well. And our goal right now is we're starting with Canadian firms, Canadian clients. So what we're looking at is we do want to know some American bookkeepers as well, because we do have clients that are working across the border. And some of them will require someone who has an understanding of working with the IRS. And that's not always something that we as Canadian accountants or bookkeepers are skilled to do. So our focus right now is Canadian for Canadian, but anybody who comes in who's sending us an email that is American, we're kind of just putting them into our next slot, which is going to be the next step, which is the cross-border help.
Perfect. All right, so let's open up. Anybody out there have any questions? Because I think those were the only 2 things that I kind of thought looking for clarity on.
Okay, no problem.
I have a question.
Sure.
So just out of curiosity, as part of the Tanya's question of, you know, if you take the referral and then you realize you don't fit, when I do a discovery session with a client prospect, I actually spend time with them and I meet them so that I can get that fit feel.
Mm-hmm.
How would you work that? Because
yeah, no, that's a great question, Carol, because it actually, our relationship stops at the referral. So basically it's up to that. So a client is coming to us and they're looking for XYZ. We do a lot of work with our clients to determine what they actually need on the accounting side, because it helps us really understand the kind of bookkeeper that they require. And then when we're looking through the bookkeepers that we work with, what it's doing is we're basically trying to find the ones that have the best expertise, the aptitude, knowledge, whatever it is, they're industry specific, anything like that. And if those bookkeepers consent to be referred to this client, as soon as I refer you, we're done. You do whatever you want to do. If that client contacts you and says, hey, I would like to have a meeting with you, you meet them, you treat it like a normal client. This is just a referral process. This is just to fill a need for businesses by helping the businesses have a better understanding of the bookkeepers that they're looking at without them having to spend all the time themselves, right? So your position doesn't change, and it should not change. This is not, you still have to do your own vetting. You still have to make your contract with them. You have to make you are just being referred to them, and they are looking at your information and saying, you know what, I want to talk to this person. We're kind of the middleman. We're cutting out we're weeding through it all for them so that they can see you right away.
Okay.
Right?
And are you the year-end accountant for them?
Nope, nothing.
Okay, so it's just strictly a referral.
100%. The work I do with the clients, it's really is it's financial management stuff in a sense, and it's referring them to what they need. But as far as I'm concerned, like, this is up to them. They have another accountant. No, I don't do that anymore in my practice. No more year-end accounting, no bookkeeping.
Oh, okay.
What this is just trying to fill that void to help them find a clearer view to the person that will help them so that they can get to where they need to be. But my relationship at that point is done. You can go and work with them, or you can say no. They've been given a few names at this point. So if you decide you do your vetting and you don't like them, well, that's fine, because they might think the same about you, unfortunately, right? But they have a couple options that they didn't have to go and spend hours to find.
Right. Good. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Anybody else? So quiet.
Oh, well, somebody online just asked Tanya. There was a good, I can't see it. There was
that was Afsana. So if it doesn't work out, do they go back to you?
No, this is the process. It literally ends at the referral. There's a ton of work between the two. And if the relationship I have with the client is very different than the relationship I have with the bookkeepers. So the clients I will work with, like, I will have a relationship with them and find, like I said, they have options. But as soon as they go and decide, this is why they have to decide. I'm not making a placement. I'm not saying, no, you know what, you need to go and work with Carol. She's going to start working for you next Tuesday. It's not a placement agency. This is based on the information I have gleaned from you, all the work I've done for you, I can tell you that this person, this person, this person can do the job. Now you as the client need to determine, are they the right fit for your organization? And like anything else, they're going to make that determination. So if they pick somebody who they hire, they have a contract, that has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. It's the whole decision. We're just creating the relationship. We're just saying, we're opening the door here. And we've kind of cut through, like I said, we've cut through the muck. We've helped figure out the stuff that we've worked with them to figure out what they actually need. And then we're finding the people that can actually produce. The connection is between you guys. I mean, that's it.
How many of us have heard this all the time out of different small business owners' mouths? I don't even know what the difference between a bookkeeper and accountant is.
Exactly, Diane, right? So
they're starting at that point, and that's where you can come in to help them. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I'm doing, because based on what I've done over the years and the way I've worked a lot, I have, and I know many of you do as well, so I'm not negating that, but we're uniquely positioned to say to them, this is actually what you need if this is where you're trying to go in your business. And here, boop, 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 here are bookkeepers that can help you, that have the skills that you require. You might not like any of them, but they have the skills that you require. So it's to help them, because right now it's just a puddle when you go searching for a bookkeeper. I'm sure any of you that have freelancers or staff, how hard is it to actually find somebody for your company, and getting that person. So you think about the clients trying to do this when they in themselves don't even have a clue some of them don't really understand what they need. They know what they want. I know where I want to go. I want to grow. But sometimes it's, some of them are amazing. They know everything about what they need. But some are they're great about their business, but they're not sure about the accounting side of it, right? So it's trying to help them, give them that hand to say, look, if you need this, to get to this level, here's a person that can do that for you. And they're not wading through, because unfortunately there's a lot of deception out there. Like bookkeepers or accountants, we can say anything online, right? This is kind of helping them to say, this is a group of people that are come through and pick through it all. And said, these are the people that can actually do this work.
And I think there's also, so yes, people can say anything online, but I think too, that as bookkeepers, and I know I have been in that situation. I was lucky enough to have a mentor at that point that I was working with help me through it. And now I've been on the other side where I've taken over a set of books from somebody who basically, they didn't realize exactly what was involved. They got started with them and found that they were in over their heads. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, they misrepresented themselves. They just really misunderstood
100%
with the way the business. So that might, help alleviate that, because now, unfortunately they went with the best of intentions, but it ended up, turning into a bad situation for both the client and them, and so this would solve that as well too, right?
Well, that's my idea. Cause like my goal, like I said, I originally started this with this, how can I help clients? Because I always felt bad when the clients are coming and they're like, look, I don't have time to deal with this. I need somebody who knows what they're doing. And they're, and there's no shame in us wanting to present ourselves and get business, but sometimes as accountants or bookkeepers, we're not presenting appropriately, right? Or we're not looking really as hard on ourselves as possible. And it's also because the clients, and they'll admit it themselves, they don't know what to ask. They don't know what's missing, right? So they're going by what you say. So if you say, no, I could take care of this, they're like, great, I'm done. So then you show up and all of a sudden their systems are different than they actually explain to you. And then it's not that you don't know what you're doing, but you don't know what you're doing with that. So now it looks like they're going to look at you, and it happens, we all know, they're going to look at you and say, well, you're a bad bookkeeper, or you didn't know, I can't believe this. So they have a negative opinion, which it's not deserved, because you probably know very, very much. It's just, they didn't ask the right questions. You didn't know when to say no. And now we have a negative relationship. So the goal is, we're trying to say, let's see, how can we help the clients clarify their needs, and then find the bookkeepers and help them determine, is this actually the right person for them? And just like you said, it's just a relationship. It's just trying to open the doors to just so it's a better experience for all of us, because it's not fun when it goes bad. We've all had that, I'm sure, right? So
exactly. So Asana online has asked, can they go back to you to get more referrals? Let's say, those referrals don't work out. Can they go back to the client, go back to you to get more referrals?
Yep. Yeah, we have a whole arrangement with the clients. It's a whole different set of things for the bookkeepers, and it's also things too that has been considered. We've been approached by companies like other bookkeepers that are looking for their bookkeepers, right? So that's another option too. And yeah, so our goal is to have several bookkeepers in our pocket for this client, and we give them what they need to make a suggestion for. And if the first two they say, no, I'm not happy, then we will have a couple more to keep sending them as well. So it's definitely something that we've created that for the clients. But in this situation, it doesn't impact, like the bookkeepers, like nothing changes for you and how you're doing things right now. It's just somebody opened the door and said, hey, you would be good at this to do the work. Now you go see if this is the right client for you. And then it's all on you now at that point. You make the decision, you make the sale, you make the contract. You have to decide if you feel safe working with that person. You have to decide if this is the relationship you want. It's no different than if that person called you up directly on the phone.
Okay, so then you said something interesting that I was kind of already thinking about. So let's say I've got, I need a subcontractor, and, subcontracting, like a bookkeeper to subcontract, and I need in, one specific area or certain skills, and I don't know where to find them.
Right.
Can I come to you as a client for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the beauty of what we're doing with the pool. Because, and I just like the word talent pool, because it's like, come on, dive in, water's nice. And we've got, what we're doing is we're assessing, and this is the thing, it's no cost for you guys to join the pool, but you have to put in your time, because there's testings, there's certifications, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to ask of you so that we can get all that information. And so that somebody like yourself, Tanya, you come and you say, Susan, I need somebody, I don't care where they work, but they have to be QBOA certified. They have to be at this level of bookkeeping. They have to understand this industry, and we work in our database to like funnel it down to find the best people for you. And then the process begins. We say to them, hey, we have a bookkeeper who runs her own firm looking for some freelancers. And then they say, sure, consider me. And then we send those people off to you. And then now it's between you two.
Perfect. So Matthew's jumped in. So he came in a little bit late to the game. So hey, Matthew, we've been kind of chatting offline here. So yes, he says, so it's like matchmaking. So yes, I confirm that. So he says, yeah, it's much like when he was in staffing, but he's pointed out it's always really important too, which this ties into Bianca's question there. So he says it's always it's always more important to find a person that fits in with the personality of the business, because it's easier to teach the accounting. And that's kind of what Bianca was asking, which ties in beautifully. So she says, on the profile with you, could we as the bookkeeper describe our ideal client or client personality type?
Okay, so that's great. Bianca, I'll answer her question, because that's exactly, it is a question we're going to ask, and it's some information we're going to pull from you guys, from the bookkeepers, to say, look, what do you want? Are you want to only be freelance? Would you consider being an employee? Do you feel that you want to work on site, or you prefer to be online? Can you only work between the hours of 9 and 2? You know what I mean? So what are your goals? I want to grow. I want to learn, because, we're working with education partners. So it's like, what do you want to learn? So we can help move them off to say, no, you know what, Susan, I want to learn more about doing this. Great. We have education partners that we're going to hope that can take you and teach you this stuff. So it is learning about them. The thing is that it's hard when it comes to, like, with what Matt's saying on Facebook, there is that fit is essential, which is why for us, it is about, we have to make it about the accounting. We have to make it about the specifics, because you're not working for me. So if I might not necessarily like your personality, but that doesn't mean you can't do the job, and you might be great for someone else. So I'm not looking at you like you're going to work for me other than your skills. I'm looking at you as, can you do X, Y, and Z? Because that's what I want the client to know. And then this is why it goes then to the client to say, here are our top 3 that can do the job phenomenally. They know this stuff. They can work on your systems, your way. Now you, as the client, find who fits. Because then it puts it back. The client has to have accountability for this. Like, it's not a placement agency, so I'm not placing it with them. They need to look at and say, yes, these 3 people can do the work. Now, who do I want to work with? And that's when it becomes as part as well with you as the bookkeeper. Now you sell yourself. Now it's your personality. Now it's, you're aligning yourself with these people. Do you even want to work with them, right? So this is where it's for me, it has to be about the skills, the numeracy, let's say. You guys then make the final fit.
Yeah, so then the bookkeeper, that's at that point, then, you may not be specifying up front the fit, it's the skills, but then that's when maybe, when you are talking, that's when you can, make sure that you're asking your questions to determine the type of personality that person is, whether you want to go on.
Yeah, 100%, Tanya, because it's just like, think about it, is that instead of this person calling you up and saying, hey, I'm looking for a bookkeeper, I want to talk to you, it's me saying to you, hey, this person needs a client, a bookkeeper, I think you'd be great. And they're going to call you and talk to you. So it's just, then you still have to do all your stuff. You still have to vet them. You still do your due diligence, because, you have to make that decision that they're the right person for you, just like they have to decide you're the right bookkeeper for them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then Cindy is just kind of asking to make sure hi, Katharina. Welcome. So just to clarify, which I think you've kind of already answered, but are these clients looking for an on-site and or remote? They would be specifying, and then the bookkeeper, if the bookkeeper wants to work on site in this geographical area and the client's looking for somebody on site in that geographical area, then you would be connecting those two because they're a match, right?
Exactly. And it's just even something as we're also asking people is that, would you consider employment if you're a bookkeeper? What if this client decides after a while that they might like to have you employed? So we're asking even things right down to that. Would you ever consider employment, right, as being an employee? So everything is, we're trying, and as we keep going with this, we're going to find more questions we're not asking, and we're going to start. So the people at the beginning are probably going to have an easier time going through this process than people next month, because the questions are going to get more, because it's going to expand and expand, right? So, but it's 100%. The client it is a very thorough evaluation with the client, because we need to understand what they need. And then we look at the client from within to find out, what their actual accounting needs are, not just their goals, because they're two different things. We all know that, right? So, you know, they can maybe say they won, but maybe they're like, oh, I have no idea about this. I know my business. Well, great. That's why I'm here, to look at your company to see what do you need to make this run. And then we can find you guys based on their skill sets, your knowledge, your expertise, all your training, all your certification. And then we find the people who would closely match that requirement.
All right. So then Asana, just kind of comments, and this kind of ties into one of Bianca's questions. Asana says, it kind of sounds like a cross between an agency and matchmaking, which it kind of does. And then Bianca said, so are you promoting yourself in the realm of a headhunter?
No, I don't know. You know, that's a good question. I haven't really. It's interesting because we have headhunters, and I spent a lot of time looking, because this is kind of the first of its kind in Canada. We have headhunters, but headhunters are really looking for very specific talent, as they call them, the talent. And they seem to overshoot our bookkeepers, right? Because they're always looking for CFOs, and they're looking for other accountants and stuff like that. So for me, you could call it a headhunter, but this is why I want it instead. I want to headhunt within a pool. I want to know you guys already. I don't want to have to. I would rather, you know, do these referrals to the people that have spent the time and gone through with me, given me all this information. And I don't want to have to go and headhunt every individual, right? So it's kind of a headhunt, but not. It's hard. I'm still working on the best way to describe it, between the matchmaking, the headhunting, and the referral service.
We're happy to help.
Maybe a backwards headhunter, right? Because a headhunter, right? I've been headhunted in my old industry. So a headhunter has the clients already and then goes hunting for the bookkeepers. So you want to have a pool of bookkeepers already, and you're out looking for the clients. So
yes, exactly. Well, because I have clients now that are looking for people, and they're patiently waiting. And my goal is we're starting the client big push in the next coming months to really push for the clients. Then yes, the goal on my end is always, it's the clients, is finding for the clients. But I need to you know, for lack of a better term, for a bad metaphor, it's, yes, the clients, I'm headhunting, or I'm fishing in my pool. I want to find who's in the pool that I can help, because I want it to be people that have made the effort, that want to grow, because I don't want to just go find anybody to refer them to. I want people that I understand they want to grow, they want these connections, you know, not just picking somebody out of the air, right? So, but yeah, so it's a type of headhunting with a little bit of matchmaking on the side.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then Bianca just said that's kind of what she was thinking, reverse headhunting. Santa says it sounds very cool and like a thing that only a cool bookkeeper does. So then Bianca's got a question. We've got tons of questions. So I don't know if we're going to even get a chance to talk about anything else. But so Bianca's asking too about the certified. So will you only have certified professionals in your database?
Absolutely not. I am a firm believer that education speaks for quite a lot, and experience speaks for quite a lot. We need bookkeepers of every level. We need bookkeepers, but here's the claim. It's bookkeepers. We're not looking for accountants. I don't want CPAs. I don't want CMAs unless they have decided to become full-time bookkeepers. We're not, like, this is the thing. We are looking for the bookkeepers, you know, because the focus is not on, you know, if you wind up doing year-end accounting, that's fine, but that's not the focus, is the year-end tax accountant. Our focus is the people that are doing the main work within the bookkeeping, whether it's in-house for them, it's online for them, it's freelance for them, it's the bookkeeping stuff. So if you have a CFB, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. If you've got a college degree, that's great. If you have a university degree, that's great. If you don't, okay, that's fine. I just need to know, because every single person that comes into the pool is going to go through aptitude tests, lots of aptitude testing, because we need to understand exactly where your skills are in terms of understanding accounting, not understanding how to use the software necessarily to do it, but understanding the principles of accounting and actually how to do basic bookkeeping, for all the fundamentals from basic to advanced. And then we get into as well the where you sit in terms of software. What software do you understand? What could you use, right? Thanks, Diane. You know, it's the fundamentals first, the software second. So no, we are not We want to talk to everybody, because there is a client for everyone, because we have a lot of very small startups that are just looking for a little bit of help, you know, and maybe that's good for somebody, you know, that's also relatively new in the business, right? So we're judging you, but only on your aptitude. That's it.
So in other words, any of those of us who've, you know, written and have passed our CPBs and thought that was the last exam we'd have to do. Surprise, surprise, right?
Sorry.
Yes, that's okay. So Tracy just said, thank you. I love to hear that. Shelley, I'll get to yours in just a second. Haven't ignored yours. Just trying to kind of, some questions tie into others. So then Carmen's asked, what about controller services? So let's say she's a bookkeeper and they also deal with controller services there as well. Is that something that you might potentially have a client looking for, someone who does all of that?
100%. Literally, we're asking you everything. And if we don't ask you, you tell us so we know, right? Like, we need to know every specific thing, like even the things you don't want to do. Susan, I do not want to work with anybody in real estate. Done. You're off that list, right? It's almost every question we can possibly think of, which is why I know these questions are going to change over the next.
I do not want to work with anybody that's going to pay me less than I am worth.
Exactly. So that's the whole purpose, Diane. We're going to show them what you're worth and that you're worth every dollar. And especially now that they don't have to go and dig through everybody else to find you, right? It's up to you guys to prove that you're worth it and worth that, but we're going to make sure they see you, and we want to know everything about you. So that's like the first questionnaires that we give out, they're quite extensive to find. And then it gets so anything you can tell us about what you want, that's important. It's just as important as what the client needs and wants. We want to know what you want, because then we can also make sure that you're considered for certain things over others.
Here's another huge advantage to that I just thought of too, Susan, is when you're actually grouping people, when you get, you know, all the bookkeepers in and they're, you know, they tell you exactly what they're looking for, then they're going to be in a certain group. So now, even if you do present 4 or 5 people, they know that they're competing on a level field.
Yes, 100%.
Which is so important that we don't get to do often. You know, I'm not in there competing for the same client as somebody that's, you know, advertising for $15 an hour on Craigslist.
Yes.
Right.
No.
It becomes so much more professional in that sense, which is, I think, it's a fantastic thing, and it can only bring the professional level up for business owners looking for bookkeepers too. They won't expect to be seeing the $15 an hour.
And that's, thank you so much, Diane. I appreciate that. And you're absolutely right, because and these clients that we're speaking to, is they know that this is not a $15 an hour service. Yeah. We are getting people of quality and people that can do this work, and quality costs money. Yeah. So there's not an encouragement where, you know, we deal with clients, like I'm sure all of you do, that are very much like, what does this cost me? First question out of their mouth, and usually that one gets shut down pretty fast. It's like, it'll cost you what it needs to cost you to get the work done, and there's a price for value. So, and that's where it turned for me to be not just about the clients and solving this issue for the clients, but about the industry and changing the attitude that this has no value, that anybody can do this. No, not everybody can. And value has this value that you guys bring to these businesses has a cost, and it's worth it. Okay, so it's a little bit of advocating there too for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to make a difference here, because this is I'm tired of the complaining.
Absolutely,
you know,
I see it. I completely see it that way.
And I think it's probably fair to say that if the client's not expecting a $15 or $25 an hour bookkeeper, because the client, so, you know, shoot me afterwards if, you know, you don't want me to say this, but the bookkeeper's not paying, you need to make money. The client is paying you. So if the client is coming and they're the one that's paying you, that's how they're paying for this. They're not going to be expecting a $15 or $25. I know if I'm paying for something, yes, I'm not expecting a $15 to $25 an hour, you know.
And it's 100%, like the businesses that are coming, they're the ones that they're willing to pay to help to find you. So they're going to be willing to pay for you. So
they already appreciate the value, basically.
It's already, yes, exactly. It's already value. And then that's part of our own, the system that Lori and I are going through with the clients is if that's an attitude that they have, it's not necessarily a client we even want to work with, because I don't want to promote that that kind of attitude or perpetuate that kind of attitude for them to devalue the worth of what you're doing. So
yeah.
Well, I think,
oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think, Susan, that sometimes it is an education process on the client side, because I just went through this maybe about a month ago. Talked to a lady, super professional, totally professional in her business, in her industry. She needed a new bookkeeper because the other bookkeeper, unfortunately, after 13 years, was terminally ill.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the rest. Anyways, she paid my discovery session. Of course, she asked what my hourly rate was. I said, I don't do hourly, I do package. We spent 2 hours. I mean, she was meticulous about everything that she wanted done. Done by this, here's this, I give you this, I figure this out. You're going to do all this. My other accountant does it, turn around in 2 days, blah, 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 blah. We go over the financials, we review it, blah, blah, blah. And then she showed me sort of some of her financials. And I wasn't looking at it to look at what she was being charged for accounting.
Yeah.
But I happened to notice it. And I didn't say anything at the moment, but my mind started reeling. If this is your financial statement for the whole year, why is your accounting only $1,000.50?
Yeah.
So when I gave her the pricing, she kind of went, oh, well, my accountant only charges me $75 a month.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's I know. And that's the like,
if I'm charging by the hour,
yeah,
that's my hourly rate.
Yeah. And that's a problem we all face, right? Because there are people major undercutting, or there's a friend, and that's as long as you stick to your guns. Because to me, I always talk to these clients and I say to them, you know, when you're making like, you know, 500,000 or $1 million, whatever it is, if you're not paying at least 2% of your revenue on your bookkeeping and accounting, you've got like, you're not paying enough. Like, and you work out, it's like, it's a very small amount for them. For us, it's a good value. So I always look at that and it's like, I try to put it in perspective to them. It's like, you know what this actually works out to be? It's only this small percent of your revenue. And then they can relate to it a little bit better. But there's always a story about so-and-so who only charged me this, or so-and-so who only charged me this. And they're like, this is what I cost. This is what the value I'm providing you is going to cost you. And it's, in most cases, if they see the value, they take it. But yeah, I've been there, Carol. I hear that, and it's frustrating because there's a lot of people undercutting. They don't.
Well, and I don't think it was the undercut. I think maybe in the beginning, like if I worked at it, if it took her 2 hours a month, she would have been charging $25 an hour. That's how I kind of worked it out, and then a little bit extra.
So yeah, so that
was sort of my ballpark. So she maybe was charging that 13 years ago and never raised her rates.
Wow.
Right. And as her business grew, I think that she just left it the same. They had a relationship.
Yeah. And that happens. You know, I know that happens.
That's my only guess, because
you know what? It's
years ago, $25 an hour for an accountant. Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
But today?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anybody.
That's my guess.
No. Yeah. And that's a tough one. And that's where you're overcoming the, well, but this is what I can do. And then sometimes they're resistant. There's nothing you can do. But like for me, this is why it's so important that we're changing this value. Like it's, well, you want this, and done. This is what it's going to cost you. So.
Yeah. So Santa, absolutely agree with that. Sorry, Deborah, is absolutely, Susan, you get what you pay for. Quality and expertise costs money. So that's awesome. I also want to throw there really quickly. So for those of you, a bunch of you may know Susan, those of you who don't, yes, she's an accountant, but she is also a member of the Institute of Professional Bookkeepers of Canada. And she's been a great advocate. You are a member, right, Susan? So you're always there. Okay. She's always at our conferences.
I might be a lapsed member. I don't think I paid last year.
Okay, well then pay.
Sorry.
The board member. I'm
sorry, Valerie.
But she's been there and she's in the trenches, and she is like an excellent advocate and always has been in the value and has seen the value in the bookkeeping. So I was probably one of the first people Susan talked to about this months ago. I was so excited because I think she would be absolutely great at it. She knows what we do. She values what we do. So perfect. So 2 other quick questions to tie in together, and then I'll shut up again. So is Bianca asked, I'll ask these both and you can kind of answer them together because they're tied together. So Bianca said, what contact information will be displayed publicly? And Shelley said, what is the introduction process? So for example, email, intro, Facebook group, etc.
So your information? No, that will not be public. Like that's ours. So no, this is not where somebody can go on and scroll through a bunch of people and your information. 100% not at all. That's not the way it works. So your information is with us. And because I don't want, the purpose was not for the clients to go and just search, like search for you guys, like placing an order. That's not the purpose. Because,
or like the Find a Pro Advisor site.
Right, 100%. It's not that, because what we're trying to do is, again, when I originally created this, it was all about the clients, and I wanted to find them who they needed. And it doesn't help when they're going, oh, well, this person sounds nice. Well, no. Okay, does this person know this, and this? And I want to be able to tell them that. So no, this is not going to be an open thing that anybody can go in. Everything you give is confidential. Everything is only seen by myself and Lori. Everything is just, it's kept between us until we've until the client has come in that we feel that you would be suitable for. Then once you say yes, then somebody gets your information. No, because I don't want to waste your time either, right? Like that's the other thing too. So yeah, it's not a Find a Pro Advisor site. It's not Fiverr or any of those organizations where it's just a massive grocery list of people. And I'm sorry, Tanya, what was the other one?
That was the introduction process, email introduction, Facebook group, etc.
Oh, okay. So the start is there's a link. If you go to the website, findourbookkeeper.ca/bookkeepers, there's a little button that says, yes, I'm interested. And what that does is it sends a note to us, and whenever because you get like a little pop-up that says book a time, and then we talk to you guys for about 20 to 30 minutes, and we're just trying to get a very general sense of you. We tell you a little bit more about the program, some of the real specific stuff that I can't go into here, and then the process goes on is that it's full disclosure, a full engagement. Like we're showing you like there's a contract, what we expect of you, what you expect from us. And then the big work begins with all the information and everything, and then the aptitude stuff. And then that's it. So it's a few-week process at this point, and but it all starts just with a quick conversation to learn a bit about you.
And I think Shelley probably more meant, and she's off screen, so she'll probably have to rewatch this because she might.
Oh, sorry.
But I think she meant maybe the introduction process potentially to the client. So that's great that you kind of answered both ways. Oh, there she is.
Yeah,
sorry. My parents literally just showed up.
No,
with a surprise. So, yeah, it was kind of the introduction portion that I was questioning about from the, the one looking for a bookkeeper, to ourselves, as well as, the process that so it was kind of double-sided there, like you explained. I caught most of it, not all of it.
But the process with the client is when we determine who we think would be the best fit for the actual workload. You, the bookkeepers, we present the client to you first, barring their name, any privacy issues there. And we say, this is the client, this is what we know about them. Do you want to be referred to them? And then once that is all we do is then we send the information to the client. The client will then talk to you. And that's it. Like we walk out, like it's just, and we let you know we've referred you to them. And then it's up to between you and the client, then the client will then connect.
Okay, and this is just to clarify, because there was some question on here. So the website again is findourbookkeeper.ca, not find a bookkeeper.
No, find our bookkeeper.ca, which is the main one for the clients, so that you can see even what we do with the clients. And then if there's a little link either there or do the /bookkeepers, and that's a page all for you guys. And what we're trying to do too as well is we're working on there is a private portal as well for information where we're going to be able to share with you if you're looking for a little bit more education, if you're looking for stuff for yourself. We're going to connect with some, some great people, a couple people I'm seeing right there, like that might have things to offer to help bookkeepers boost their businesses or their knowledge. So we're going to be able to share that with people as well, right? So because if you want certain clients, then you might need a little bit more help. So there's lots of, we're hoping to have lots of information out there for you as well.
Perfect. And I just put it up in Facebook and it auto-corrected. I will go back. If I do it right now, we're going to hear things. So yeah, it's not find a bookkeeper, find our, it auto-corrected on me. And if I go in to fix it now, I can't fix it from my phone. If I go in to fix it now, we're going to actually hear feedback from our conversation, our delayed conversation. So I'll fix it when we're off. Unless somebody else can reply and correct it.
I just put it on there.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll just go and try and delete it then.
Oh, you're funny. You're going to give somebody else business. I don't know.
Find a bookkeeper.ca. I type that in. It actually auto directs to IPBC.
Oh, does it?
It does. It does.
So, well, that's good. So hopefully that's answered some questions for everyone. And if you have any other questions, you can, well, most people do know who I am, but I'll put there's the link in there. And as well as you can also talk to us, I'll put it here. It's, oops, wrong keyword. There's an email. Feel free to ask questions, or just if you sign up for the initial chat, ask as many questions as you want. That's what we're here for. And that's why one of the things that Lori gets to do is she's starting all those calls right now with people. So, and we're going to answer as best as we can. And as I said, it's new. We just soft launched last week, just dealing with the bookkeepers. And then it'll probably grow and evolve over the next few weeks as we learn how to work better with you guys and how to work better even for the clients.
That's awesome. So if you know somebody who's interested, tag this. I'm going to put it up on the YouTube channel where I'll put the link later today or tomorrow. Forward it out on your social media if you want, because again, there's no cost to the bookkeepers. And this is great because anybody in there is going to be getting, I mean, how many calls do we get that we have to go through before we get somebody, who's like, I think it's 1 out of every 10 people before you're actually connecting with your true ideal client who's, not, trying to say, oh, again, what's your price right up front? So imagine if you can get that, again, most of your calls are hopefully going to be at least, maybe you're going to, have to go through 1 out of every 3 or something instead of 1
and who is serious and wants help.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The serious business. Yeah, hi. I figured I'd put a face to the discussion near the end.
But one of the other things too that's been brought up, and it's definitely something that we're also as well, obviously we have a link for the business owners too. So if any of you guys are getting clients and you're just like, I don't want to help this guy, or I don't want to work with this guy, or I got to get rid of these guys, send them the link and let us try to find them someone else for you and just take it off your plate.
That's a great idea. I actually didn't even think about that, but that's why you're putting that part, right?
That's right.
And Susan, on that, I just have a question as well. Do you have any sort of initial screening process, any like basic questions that you go through with the clients?
Yeah, it's huge.
Do you have a screening process? Yeah, I was just curious because I guess then it would be nice to know that you're not, I do that as a bookkeeper as it is, go through a screening process with my clients, but if there's some, initial screening done, that would be really helpful.
Well, there'll be my screening. I've been doing this for a very long time. So, and I become very picky about clients I work with. So I'm very selective. So there will be a big understanding of the clients and trying to understand even their nuances. But that's why I was saying is when you're referred to them, you still need to do your same process. You still need to do your scrutinizing, your due diligence. Because you got to still feel safe with this person. You got to still like this person to deal with. You know, just because I'm referring you to does not mean that you might be the right bookkeeper for them, but might not be the right client for you. So that's where it's at that point, it becomes you still do your stuff. You should never stop just because somebody refers you. You still want to go and make sure that this is okay for you and meets all of your levels.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just curious if are there going to be any circumstances where you won't be referring clients to bookkeepers if you're aware of how they function?
I'm sure there will be. I've got a pretty good radar of people and I'll be doing some really extensive work because part of the process with the clients there's some extensive consultations with them, just like I would if I was taking them on myself. And if there's something, if there's a sniff test that goes bad, I'm not interested in being involved in that because if there's something not right, then I wouldn't feel right about passing that person on to unsuspecting people. And if I don't feel right about it, then I don't feel that you guys would feel right about it either. So it would be something that, something that I would they're going through as much scrutiny as you are because, you know, yes, I believe there's a bookkeeper for every business and a business for every bookkeeper, but sometimes you just need to know when to say no. So.
Yeah, just if there's major red flags, it would be.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
100%. It's not worth it for me because I want this to be a successful program on both sides. So if we start to and here's the other side of it. It's the same with the bookkeepers. If there's any deception or any dishonesty in what is presented, if there's an issue with the bookkeeper as well, they will be excluded right out of the pool. So it's the same on both sides.
Yeah, thank you. That helps.
Are you open to suggestions of red flags to watch for? Based on 30 years.
You have red flags, Carol? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. There's lots, I'm sure. There's usually something that just goes, I'm sorry, you said what? Yeah, I don't think I can help you. You know, because we all know, I'm sure we've all had one of those clients that are just like, I just can't help. I don't think I can help you.
And the reason why I'm asking is because I let go of a client last year, and purely it was based on the fact when I hired him, which my first was I normally don't take construction anymore because of a lot of dishonesty. Mm-hmm. But he was new in that he was separating from his brother in partnership to go on his own. So I said, okay, well, I'll give you a chance. If you're going to do everything my way, this way, blah, 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 above board honesty, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Everything was in agreement.
Yeah.
Until I started working and found out after about a month, the wife was the one that was sending me the paperwork.
Yeah.
3 days before GST is due.
Yeah.
So because I liked him and wanted him and his business to succeed, I put up with her for a number of years.
Yeah.
She wasn't always bad, but it came to the point where it was like, you know what, you can't bring me stuff on, you know, April 28th for stuff that's got to be filed on the 30th or drop it off on the 24th to file GST on the 30th. Because really, like this would be me getting her, oh no, today's only 17th. We wouldn't be getting it until next week for almost 3 months of bookkeeping. And then there would be paperwork missing. So, and I don't know how you figure that out in there.
And those, unfortunately, those are the joys of our profession that we have to deal with, because this could be a beautiful person at the beginning and they're just a nightmare. Where I'm looking at, and sometimes we can't scrutinize for that because there's a lot of work, you know, it's tough, that's why you have to decide if this person works for you. But one of the things that we're asking, and part of the work process with the clients itself is actually a full accounting review with them. Like, it's really, I'm digging into their books because I need to understand, because they say one thing and mean something else and they need something else. So it's it's an in-depth review to see what's going on, because my goal is, okay, yes, maybe do we all want to avoid a situation like Carol described? Of course we do, but sometimes those are unavoidable. What I'm looking for is obvious deceit, obvious hiding, improper record handling, things that are legal nightmares for us, you know, like our insurance issues and things like that, where this is somebody that is sending up red flags because there's going to be a problem, and we don't want to get into things like that, right? So, and the rest of it will come down to when it's presented to you as a potential, like for example, the industry. I have a lot of colleagues that don't want to work with people who are in the cannabis industry, for example. So that's a decision you make, but you'll be advised of such, that this is a person who is a cultivator of cannabis. You decide if you want to work with that person. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with that person. It's just might not be in an industry for you, right? So there's the red flags I'm looking at come down to the fraud, like the fraudulence, and where we see an issue in terms of immediate, like, you know, I don't want to pay, or I don't want to do this, or any big concerns like that.
So Bianca asked too, will there be an option to turn our availability on and off?
Absolutely.
I'm assuming that's a yes. Yeah.
That's a great question. And yes, 100%. We actually hope that we're trying to take this slow, and so right now we've created these pages that are within my own website. So as we grow, we're going to develop a portal and stuff, so you guys can actually tell us that at any time. I'm no longer available right now, Susan, or I am available right now, Susan. And I need to know that, because I don't want to consider you for somebody if you are not taking anyone on, but I'm not going to remove you out of the pool unless you say, I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore, which I hope you don't say. So.
That's awesome. There's been lots of interest on that. So that's
well, and this is good. This actually really helps me, because I'm going to take some of these and try to add them onto some more of our frequently asked questions, right? So
let me ask you, because I mean, some of them have left, but we had a bunch of boot campers here. Did you guys, those that are on the call, did you guys want for me to have Susan in, and we'll just do a special one just for the boot campers, and maybe we'll grill her a little bit more about stuff? Because I know that's a question that I get asked frequently about, well, you know, I'm looking for maybe just somebody I'm really busy. I don't have a chance for an employee. So I'm like, let's just, you know, work amongst each other. But this is, again, a little bit more targeted to what industry. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Guys, just tell me about it afterwards, because we can have her on for that too. She's happy to be on there.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you guys. This has been great. I appreciate all the questions. It's really, really helpful for me. And yeah, any questions you have, obviously, you know, if you can't find my information, just ask Tanya, except for when she says it's find a bookkeeper, find our bookkeeper.
I've already corrected it. I just turned my volume right down, so I wouldn't do that. I already corrected it.
But you can find us, and it's a part of my main corporation. My main corporation is Watkins Small Business Services, so details are under that. We have a new Instagram page, which is at Find Our Bookkeeper, so you can follow us, and we'll put information there too. But otherwise, there's lots of people who know who I am and can help direct you if you can't find us. And but yeah, like I said, Tanya's got the information there on her page, and I appreciate all the time. I appreciate all the amazing questions. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I have to say, it's actually probably a little bit nice to have a week where we actually didn't talk about anything COVID related.
Oh, you just ruined it. Way to go, Tanya. The C word. No more.
Can you use the C word?
Not that.
I know. It was bad. It was bad. Well, that's okay. I was on the call just before this with Carol where we talked about that. So again, strategies. So I guess I'm sure we'll get back to that next Friday, more strategies and stuff. But no, this was great. And yeah, great information. Thank you. I think it's awesome. So before she goes, any other last questions that anybody wants to ask for?
No. Thank you guys. So, but yeah, if anything comes up, yeah, Tanya, if you get any questions, just shoot me them yourself then if you want me to answer them for your group, and I can post them on your page then.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. She's in the group as well, so we can tag her. If anybody, doesn't want to ask the question outright, everybody knows how to contact me. So just contact me, and again, I can connect you guys, off of here, whichever. So.
Yep, not a problem. That's great.
Well, thank you, everybody. And again, we went over. We usually go over. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining. I give everybody the permission, even those of you, yes, in the West Coast, go home or finish early. Take the rest of the day off. Carol, she's in Ontario. But yeah, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully we'll see some more of the new faces back next time. And that's great. So have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Good weekend.